Today we're going to discuss why maybe you shouldn't move to Sacramento. Top 10 reasons. We'll give you 10 good reasons not move to Sacramento. I love Sacramento. Been here about 7 years myself. I'm from Dallas, Texas. That's one of the reasons people say I talk funny. But I love it here myself. But it might not be for you and it might not be for everybody. So let's discuss it. Let's get into those top 10 reasons. And if they affect you, then maybe you want to reconsider moving here. But yeah, we'll get after it right after this. Well, there's a lot of positive aspects of why you would want to move to Sacramento because it's a great city to live in for me, myself. Well, now let's start with number one, why you wouldn't want to move here. And that's because it's hot and it's dry during the summertime. I'm talking 100 degrees, 100 degree plus. And, if you don't like hot weather, then we might not be the place you want to live. Sacramento might not be the city for you. On the flip side of that, if you don't like cold winters, we don't have many cold winters. I've seen 32 degrees. I haven't seen any hard freezes, anything like that. So no scrambling, make sure you got antifreeze, stuff like that here. But it does get hot. It does get dry. And that can be a little disturbing, but the humidity is not too bad. So even though it is hot, it's not too bad. Like I say, I was from Texas. I'm born and raised in Dallas, and you talk about it gets hot, but it's got humidity along with it. So you walk outside, you just feel like you're drowning, you're melting all of a sudden because of the humidity along with the heat, which is ridiculous. Uh, so yeah, it does get hot, but if you're in an area or you can afford a house with a swimming pool, this might be the place for you. I mean, I love swim. Well, we've got a swimming pool here. It's one of our criteria that we chose when we were moving here, is that we had to have a house with a swimming pool. So we got a house with a swimming pool, and me and the wife just love it. We spend our afternoons sitting by the pool, sitting in the pool, floating on floats and stuff, and just enjoying a nice evening uh, outside. And I love it. We do that 5, 6 days a week. So, it's not all bad. The other reason, number two, is air quality. Uh, all of California has at one time suffered from smog conditions. And we sit in the valley, so during the hot summers, we can get a little smoggy at times. And as I'm sure you've heard in the past, uh, that California has been suffering from a lot of wildfires and stuff. And that's because we were in such a drought condition for a long time, uh, where it just got dry. It got dry as heck, and things catch on fire and start burning. Whether you believe in climate change or not, that's a whole other subject to go to. But had a lot of wildfires and stuff, which created smog conditions, created smoke alerts and stuff like that. So if you're sensitive to things like that, it might not be the place for you. Uh, I will say that I don't see the air quality as it being that bad here. I don't suffer from any kind of asthma or anything like that, so it hasn't been a concern for me. Uh, but I can fully understand why it might be for some people. Uh, so that's something to take into consideration when you're looking at here. But California's done a lot of good to get rid of the smog here. I mean, I remember when I used to come to Los Angeles years ago, and I'd fly into to L.A. or San Jose, and it was like you come across the Sierra Mountains, and then all you could see was this huge layer of just black smog, and then you kind of dove through this like a cloud of smog before you could see the city. Now you come over the Sierras and you look and you can see the beautiful, bright, sunshiny areas and the cities and stuff laid out below you, and it's nice and bright. Uh, that's because in the last 10, 15 years, the state has done a lot to get rid of smog. They've put in a lot of regulations on cars and things like that, smog checks, and that's another reason that some people say I don't want to move there because it's communist city. Well, it's not. It's necessary to keep the smog under control because we've got so many people here in this state. One of the most popular states in the country. And you got 40 million people into a limited amount of space, and they're all driving cars and stuff. It creates a lot of smog. But they've done a lot to eliminate that, and going all electric, and so the smog has gotten much better. Allergies, number 3, allergies. If you suffer from allergies, Sacramento might not be the place you want to come. We are known as the city of trees. That's a good and bad. We've got a lot of trees, which creates a lot of pollen, a lot of green, which creates a lot of pollen. So during the springtime and stuff, it can be a lot of challenges if you suffer from allergies really bad because of it. But, at the same time, on the flip side of that is it makes it one of the most beautiful cities in the world. We're just tree-lined streets everywhere. We've got trees, and more trees. We're known as the city of trees. And we've got all the diverse kind of trees. I mean, everything from oaks to redwoods to cedars to, you name it, we've got it. And it's some of the most beautiful trees you'll ever see in your life. And they're everywhere. That's something to consider. If you suffer from allergies and you're really sensitive to pollen and you can't control it any good way, then it probably not the place for you. But if you don't suffer, you'll love it here. Traffic. Number 4, traffic. Let's talk about traffic. It's a city. What can I say? Every city suffers from traffic. It's nothing like you get in San Francisco, and it's nothing like you'll get in Los Angeles. And it's nothing like you'll even suffer in Dallas or Fort Worth or Houston, Texas type of thing. I mean, I don't know if you've been to any of those cities, but my God, Houston's got a 24-lane highway they have to put out now. They just keep going wider and wider, trying to deal with all the traffic that they've got. And Dallas is doing the same thing. LBJ Freeway is just stupid. It's a parking lot at certain times of day. We do have some traffic congestion here. If you're working, an 8 to 5 shift or a 9 to 5 type of shift, and you have to go to work early in the morning and you have to get home in the afternoons, then you will see some traffic. But normal times, we don't have that much traffic. It's pretty easy going. It's pretty cruising. I really have no complaints against it personally myself, because I pretty much work all kinds of crazy hours being a realtor, driving people, meeting people and stuff like that. I'm not really trying to do the 8 to 5 commute like most people, so I don't have to worry about that. But, if that's a problem for you, then yeah. But like I say, it's not near as bad as some major cities that the major cities you might be able to consider living in. It's a pretty good area. Cost of living. Number 5, cost of living. Cost of living in Sacramento is not really that bad. It can be higher. It's California. It's higher than most places. If you're in the middle of Idaho or Iowa or, Kansas or someplace like that, where the cost of living is pretty cheap. There you go. We will be higher. We're California. But if you're talking about California cost of living, we're one of the cheapest. We're one of the cheapest major cities that live in California. We're not anywhere like San Francisco or Los Angeles. In fact, I just did a video on cost of living, and I compared it to Dallas, Texas. So if you'd like to see that, make sure you hit the button down below and subscribe, like this, and then subscribe to the channel and find that video. It's called Cost of Living in Sacramento. and we go through what are the cost of livings, what's average gas prices, milk prices, grocery prices, and things like that, and rent. So yeah, look it up. Uh, Limited public transportation. If you're depending on public transportation, depending on where you live, you want to make sure you live in the right place if you're going to come here. We do have a light rail system, but it only covers limited areas outside of the city center. So, if you're going to buy a house, you want to make sure, or if you're going to rent a house, buy a house, whatever you're going to do when you come here, make sure you get into an area that would be covered by that if that's what you're going to be depending on. Because I'll tell you now, the bus system, while we do have a bus system and it does pick you up and take you, where you want to go, it might take you an hour to get where you want to go. It's a little slow and a little clunky as far as transfers and stuff like that. Uh, so if public transportation is your main means of transportation, then you might want to consider looking elsewhere. It might not be the best choice for you. But you can get there, and there is the Amtrak station. You can get on the train. You can go to San Francisco pretty easy, and you can also head north and head east on the Amtrak stations and stuff like that if you want to get out of the city. But inside the city, bus and light rail are our main deals. Number 7, flood risk. Now, I've been here for 7 years, as I said, and never had to worry about floods. Didn't even see anything problems with floods because we were such a dry conditions for so long. But those dry conditions have changed. This last winter, or current winter time that we're just now coming through into the springtime, we got major amounts of rain. I think our drought broke because we were in a drought before that, and that's when we had all the wildfires and everything else. But our drought is pretty much gone. We got wave after wave after wave after wave of rainstorms. We get a rainstorm, 2 or 3 days later we get another rainstorm, 2 or 3 days later we get another major rainstorm, and I'm talking 2 to 3 inches of rain. It was what they call atmospheric rivers, which used to be called the old Pineapple Express. It started way out in the west of the Pacific over by Hawaii, and it was just major rainstorms that just keep flooding, coming in, constant, every few days. And so we got lots and lots of rain this year. All our reservoirs are full. We got major snowpack up in the Sierras. The Sierras got 678 inches or 680 inches. It may even be up to 700 inches of snow now. I'm talking 50, 60 feet of snow. So much snow that a lot of the ski resorts even had to shut down for a while because the chairlifts were buried up to the top of the chairlifts and they had to dig all that out. So you couldn't even go skiing, even though you had plenty of snow to do it in. A lot of fresh powder. But that was a concern for a while. But that's slowing down now. And we did have some areas that flooded. And that's why if you're coming and you're going to buy a house or you're going to move into this city, then you might want to contact somebody in this city, me, a good realtor that can kind of direct you to areas that don't flood and that you don't have to worry about it. And yeah, we're trying to give you some good advice, get you on the right track, and make sure you're in areas, the area I personally live in, we didn't have any problems with flooding or anything like that. It was, no problems with us. There were some areas that did flood, and I'll be glad to help you and point those out to you. Number 8, crime rates. Like every major city in the world, there are certain areas that are more crime prone than others. And we have seen a little bit of rise in crime in some of those areas. Most of Sacramento, I would say, is pretty safe. But there are some areas that are a little bit more crime prone than the other areas. So if you're going to move here and you're thinking about moving here and crime is a concern, you would definitely want to go to the Sac County Sheriff's Department and look up the different areas of crime rates and stuff like that. And especially if it's an area you want to move in, to decide if that's the area you want to move. Overall, I don't consider it an unsafe city. I mean, I feel safe here. I'm not worried about things. One of the things that does kind of hurt me, to put it mildly, is the crime rate that we've seen in the rise of catalytic converter thefts, where people are stealing the catalytic converters off of cars. Uh, they're broken up several rings, and this is not just Sacramento. This happened all across the United States, in cities, all major cities all across the United States. There's rings of people that are going out, and they'll go out at night, and they'll take their little battery-powered Sawzall, and they'll crawl underneath cars. They'll cut the catalytic converters off, load them in a van or car, pick up whatever, and they'll take off. And they'll do 20, 30 cars a night, and they'll go sell the things next day for $100 a hit type of thing, so that the people that are running the catalytic converter rings will take the materials out of them, because they've got a lot of platinum and stuff in them, and I think Priuses are one of the major ones that get hit a lot, because they have a pretty hefty catalytic converter on them. But yeah, that's one of the things. I celebrate whenever I see one of them been caught. Uh, But I will say that the Sacramento Police and the Sacramento Sheriff's Department have worked pretty well to bring the crime rates down, and they're still working on it. So, uh, you know, I think you can move here and feel pretty safe. But do consider the crime rate in whatever area you want to move to. You know, and a lot of that, some of that has to do with homelessness. And yes, we've got homelessness here. As every major city, especially in California, does and has had for a while, and does have in Texas and other cities too. I know my wife recently visited Austin, and she commented on how bad the homelessness was there. I've been to Dallas, and I've seen it myself. So yeah, uh, we're not an exception. We're not immune to it. You will hear more about it in California, but if that's something that bothers you, in maybe a rural area like in Idaho, Kansas, uh, Iowa, something like that might be a better place for you. Lack of diverse entertainment, number 9. Uh, I don't really find a lack of diverse entertainment here, but some people might. If you're used to a major city like New York or Los Angeles, where they're entertainment capitals of the world, where there's all kinds of entertainment from, you know, poetry reading to, huge arena field shows, and they're going on all the time. Uh, Major League Football teams, stuff like that. And, well, maybe Sacramento is not the city for you. We don't have all of that. We do have some pretty good entertainment overall, though. We've got a couple of casinos, like Thunder Valley, just opened up a big entertainment center. They've had the Eagles come. Kansas is there now. Uh, Sting's been around, and we've got the huge downtown. We've got Golden One Center, which is where the Kings play arena, and we've had some huge acts come through there. Carrie Underwood just left. So, we get that, and then we've got smaller venues like Crest Theater, which I saw the Alan Parsons project there about a year ago, and it's a small intermittent, uh, in, a small intimate theater. It's an old movie theater, and it's just beautiful, and they do live entertainment there, and I love it there. So yeah, that's I'd say we're pretty good on the entertainment area, but some people say, well, we like the diversity. Well, maybe we do. If that's what you're looking for, these big, huge entertainment districts, the live Broadway shows, things like that. Yeah, well, maybe we're not for you, but we do pretty good here. Uh, Number 10, distance from major cities. If you're used to someplace, Sacramento, Dallas, something like that, where you can get in your car and you can drive, 30 minutes and you're in another city or you're in another area. Los Angeles, you can go an hour in each direction and be in different cities, from Anaheim to Long Beach, et cetera, et cetera. Then yeah, we're probably isolated as the crow flies by that away. Uh, but I consider ourselves to be in what I call the Goldilocks zone, because we're up here, we're in a valley by ourselves, and we can go west an hour and a half. We can be in San Francisco or on the beach. bad. We can go from here. We can go east, get on Highway 50 or Highway 80, and we can be sitting up in Tahoe in the mountains skiing. If gambling's your type of thing, 2 hours on Highway 80, and you're over and you're dropping into Reno, Nevada, biggest little city in Nevada, full of casinos and stuff like that. Well, we got some pretty decent casinos right here in the city ourselves that are Indian casinos, but we I consider it, we're not the closeness that you would get in Los Angeles, but we are the our New York type of thing. But we are a pretty good city. I like it. I like it. I mean, that's one of the major things I like about Sacramento is because we are in the Goldilocks zone. But yeah, think about those 10 things: hot summers, air quality, allergens, traffic, uh, cost of living, limited public transportation, flooding, uh, crime rate, lack of diverse entertainment, and distance from other cities. If that's all things that are, bother you, then, well, maybe you not shouldn't come here. But, if you can see the bright side of them, maybe you should go ahead and come here. It's a great city. I love it. I'm happy it's home. So, yeah, get in touch with me. My numbers and everything's right here below. Contact me, and if you want a private consultation, you want to sit down and talk about it, we'll do it by video, we'll do it by phone, we'll sit down in private, we can sit down in person and chat if you want to. We can meet at Starbucks. You can come to my offices. We've got 5 offices here in the area. Be glad to meet you at any of them. We'll sit down, we'll have a private consultation, no obligation, free, of course, and we can discuss everything you need, whatever city, whatever questions you may have about the city or moving to Sacramento, we'll be here. And, if you like it and you got something out of it, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's right over here. Sorry about that. It's right over here. Subscribe and like. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of good information we're putting up. And hit the bell button so you'll get notified whenever we do put up new video. So yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe, like, and join in. Thanks.